people and government.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Raven Davis. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping news, the Grand Bahama Port Authority issuing a statement tonight in light of comments made by the nation's leader in Parliament yesterday regarding Freeport and Grand Bahama. It reads, in light of the Prime Minister's comments in Parliament yesterday regarding Freeport and Grand Bahama, we feel the need to respond to licensees, residents, and foreign direct investors who have raised significant concerns about the uncertainty created by these comments. The Hawksbill Creek Agreement contains commitments on the part of both GBPA and the Bahamas government. The projects mentioned by the Prime Minister yesterday, specifically healthcare, education, the airport, and the Grand Lucayan Hotel, are actually government commitments, not GBPA commitments under the HCA. Further, government's claims under Clause 1.5 of the HCA are contested. GBPA is yet to be satisfied that the government's purported claims, which have lain dormant for more than 50 years, are justified and supported by credible evidence. They are, however, being reviewed and will be fully addressed. We would add, however, that the claims under this clause, which has not been amended since 1965 when Freeport was in its infancy, have little relevance today. At the time, government merely collected excise tax. Today, they extract a multitude of additional taxes, which include but are not limited to cruise and airport passenger taxes, environmental taxes, road taxes, room taxes, as well as import-export duty and VAT, to name but a few. It is also an anomaly to ask the GBPA to fund the Ministry of Grand Bahama. The fact of the matter is, Freeport has always been and continues to be a net contributor to the Bahamas Treasury, despite the increased government-imposed bureaucracy and red tape, in breach of the HCA, which has held Freeport back. GBPA remains focused on advancing the economic and social development of Freeport despite these challenges. The licensees and residents of Freeport, however, also deserve a new day where government and the GBPA are working together positively to propel Freeport's economy forward and ensure a positive future for all residents and licensees. The HCA's huge potential can only be achieved if government is willing to work collaboratively with the Grand Bahama Port Authority. And tonight, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the chairman of the governing Progressive Liberal Party is firing back. Minister Mitchell issued a video statement a short time ago responding to claims made by the Grand Bahama Port Authority.
I'm really quite shocked that the Grand Bahama Port Authority has the temerity to issue this statement to challenge the Prime Minister in public over this. They know what the facts are with regard to their own situation. They simply do not have the money to carry the city where it needs to go. Right now, for example, if you want to get across the bridge out of Lucaya to get to East Grand Bahama, they can't fix the bridge. They don't have the money to do it. It's unfixed. And then the laughable proposition that they had where roads in this country cost $1 million a mile to fix, they announced that they're going to be spending $600,000. This is a joke to what has to be done in Freeport. So the question is not a tit for tat on who is responsible for what in the Hawksbill Creek Agreement. You can have a legalistic argument all you want. The point is, overall, the citizens of Grand Bahama and Freeport and the Bahamas know that right now the Grand Bahama Port Authority is failing in its duty to the city, its residents, and to the country. The model is old. It needs to change. They do not have the capital to go forward. So politically, they are making a serious mistake by challenging the Prime Minister in this way. And we from the Progressive Liberal Party want the country to know that we support the movement to do something to change Freeport so that it can take off again and be once again the city that it was supposed to be, that it is designed to be, and that it should be. So enough of this with the Grand Bahama Port Authority.
Well, in other news, a new airlift headed to Grand Bahama for the next several weeks from Europe. The initial flight arriving on Grand Bahama this past Thursday, and leaders in the sector say the potential for growth is great. Our intern Wes Calix has more in this report.
Last week at the Grand Bahama International Airport, the first direct flight from Milan to Grand Bahama since 2019 touched down. The general manager of Viva Wyndham expressed his excitement and expectation for the new plans and benefits that the flight brought.
We feel absolutely great. We think that a new weekly flight is a benefit not only for us as a company, but for the whole community, as it helps to increase the tourism in Grand Bahama. For us, as a company, this is very good because our levels of occupancy will stay around 80-90% during the whole summer. And higher is the occupancy and more staff we will have in the hotel and more possibility for everyone. So we are very, very happy with this to give the welcome back to the Italian market, to the island after the pandemic.
When comparing the numbers before the flight, Viva Wyndham general manager shares that this was the highest that they've seen. This too can go for Bahamian businesses and entrepreneurs in Grand Bahama.
No, the number we actually during starting from the reopening of the hotel 2021, the number were so low. We never go up to the 50%. We never went up to 50% of occupancy. Only this winter, with the Canadian tour operators, Sunwing, we reached the high levels like this. But this flight, this weekly flight with the Italians, will ensure us to stay between 80, 90, 95 on the top of the occupancy for all summer long, so we're very happy.
When asked if this weekly flight will continue throughout the year or will there be more international flights added, Viva Wyndham general manager says at the end of the day he hopes so, and that it was a difficult process to get flights here, first due to Hurricane Dorian and then the pandemic. As an Italian native himself, he shares that Italian views the Bahamas as a wonderful destination with endless summers, beautiful beaches, sunset, and people.
No, this is unfortunately for the moment. This is only for the summer, but we are looking forward to establishing a strong relationship with the Italian market to ensure their presence not only during the summer season but to the whole year. At the end of the summer, as soon as the winter starts, with the Canadian, with Sunwing again. But for the moment, I don't have any other information, any current information concerning new flights.
For the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition, I'm intern Wes Calix.
Thanks, Wes. Well, tomorrow is election day for the Bahamas Customs and Immigration Union. Voting will take place on Grand Bahama at the Labor Department in the region's center of Freeport. Now, there are several positions that are going unopposed on tomorrow's ballot. Among them, the post of President, Vice President of the Northern Region, Secretary General, Treasurer, Trustee. 2 candidates have been nominated for the post of Assistant Secretary General. 3 candidates for Central and Southern Region Vice President. No candidates nominated for the post of Executive Vice President. Voting takes place from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. tomorrow. And tonight we bring you the latest developments in a high-profile murder case that has captivated the nation. In the magistrate court today, a young Jamaican national stood before Magistrate LaQuay Lang, accused of the brutal murder of Omar Penn back in 2021. Our Simone Davis was present during court proceedings and filed the details in this report.
That is the man charged for the murder of Omar Marino Penn, known to the community as Punch.
25-year-old Rick Crosby, who's clad in the camouflage shirt, is a Jamaican national and stood before Magistrate LaQuay Lang in the Freeport Magistrates Court this afternoon. According to the court docket, on Sunday, February 21st, 2021, Crosby intentionally and unlawfully caused Penn's death after he fatally shot him in front of Island Luck Web Shop on East Sunrise Highway around 8 o'clock that night. Penn was 41 years old at the time of his demise and left behind 5 children. As the court proceedings began, Crosby was not required to enter a plea, and the magistrate asked whether bail would be offered or denied, to which the prosecution rejected. Magistrate Lang then explained to the accused that due to the nature of the crime, he would not be granted bail, but is free to apply for bail at the Supreme Court. The prosecutors on the case also revealed that Crosby was facing a separate gun charge in another court. Crosby was remanded to the Bahamas Department of Corrections and will return to court for the voluntary bill of indictment on August 8th, 2023. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Simone Davis.
And stay tuned for a taste of the Bahamian Johnny bread. We will have a history lesson when we come back.
Happy days are here again on June 30th and July 1st as Dolly Madison Home Center says bye-bye to VAT.
On all duty-paid purchases.
Yes! Shop till you drop.
June 30th and July 1st.
And Dolly pays the VAT.
Spend $50 or more and become eligible to win a microwave.
And Dolly's Road to 50 promotion,
where the 50th customer wins a $50 Dolly gift card.
June 30th and July 1st only.
Don't miss the 50% off selected items end-of-season sale going on now at Pandora, Port Lucaya.
Hi, I would like to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I want to put some shoes on your feet.
I want to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I want to put some shoes on your feet.
Shoes on your feet.
John West Shoes is now open. Carmichael West, Nassau, behind Wendy's.
To be Bahamian is to be blessed with opportunity. To be Bahamian is to be resilient. To be a role model. It feels amazing to be a part of history. And again, I am ever so grateful, and I'm excited to see what 50 more years bring. Happy 50th Independence, Bahamas.
The Grand Bahama Port Authority invites all residents of the island to join them and celebrate the country's 50th anniversary of independence at a free GBPA block party. Join us on Saturday, July 8 at 7 p.m. for a live show with lots of music, dancing, food, and loads of fun. The grand stage will be erected in the middle of downtown Pioneers Way and the Mall Drive. We want to see you there.
The Grand Bahama Independence celebrations continue Friday, June 30th with the Road to 50 party cruise on board Maxis. Boat leaves Port Lucaya 7 p.m. sharp. Tickets $50, includes light food and 1 drink. For more information, call 727-2692.
Fishing and sailing, just to name a few, free from bondage. That was our heritage. Our nation isn't perfect, there is more work to be done. Forward, upward, and onward towards the rising sun. Yes, we should be proud. It's time to say it loud. Oh, grab your flag, wave it from side to side. Aqua, gold, and black represents your pride. Lift your head and say, I'm a proud Bahamian.
As the country prepares for its 50th anniversary, ZNS Health Zone sat down with Doctors Hospital CEO and CFO to look at its major investments on Grand Bahama and future plans. This and more on the ZNS Health Zone this Wednesday, June 28th at 8 p.m.
grand rally is expected to kick off.
To me, independence is synonymous with liberation. It signals the evolution of the country and reminds us to remain united if we wish to see further progression. I'm Raven Davis of the ZNS Northern Service, wishing you a happy Independence, Bahamas.
I envision a multitude of metropolitan straw vendors, of taxi drivers, operators, of tour owners, of all things Bahamian. I envision our culture being defined and being something that we are very proud about. That's what I envision for the Freeport Harbor. I also envision the industrial sector growing to great strength, the container port expanding, new crane operators, utilizing technology, and just us as a country and persons that are Bahamian, to know that we are here in the world and to take our place, to make it as special as it is.
Going down Bremen Road, going down Bremen Road, going down Bremen Road, I can't lick nobody.
Your #1 news team covering the North. Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
As we get ready to celebrate 50 years of independence, we will take you on a journey like no other. It's the journey of the Johnny Cake, that mellow bread that Bahamians love. But tonight, we are talking about its history. Here's our intern, Wes Calix.
In a tribute to the rich cultural tradition of the Bahamas, Johnny Cake has emerged as a beloved culinary delight that has stood the test of time.
And I'm going to use a cup of sugar. Bahamians, we scoop. My liquid is going to be my cream. And then I love coconut. I love coconut in my Johnny bread. To make it soft, we use what old people used to call lard, but it's called shortening or Crisco. And then we definitely would, for the rising, for it to become to rise, we use baking powder. And it's as simple as that. It's not difficult at all. Anyone can make a Johnny Cake.
Dating back to the 1700s, Johnny Cake was a portable and easy-to-prepare treat for travelers, whether they were journeying from Holmes Rock to Pindus Point or exploring other distant destinations. Over the years, this delectable dish has evolved and transitioned from rock ovens of the yesteryear to modern home oven. Tanya Monroe, who grew up under the watchful eye of her grandmother while baking Johnny Cake, reminisces about the changes she has witnessed in the preparation process.
To go with our pig feet or chicken sauce. Back then, it was well known as Journey Cake because it traveled well long distance. But now, we call it Johnny Cake.
As we celebrate 50 years of independence, Monroe shares that it is very important to hold firm to what we know best as Bahamians, so that 50 years from now, we would still have our authentic Bahamian roots, which is why she kept the techniques that her grandmother and mother taught her.
Well, I know now a lot of people use butter. They would use butter, they would use more milk or heavy cream, different things, but it was just a simple cake where you just had the flour, the water, and if they had sugar, the sweetening. But I had a grandmother that she would sometimes they would put cassava or something different just to give it some flavor. But nowadays, it's just more or less we do everything easy, instantaneously, in a bread kneader, from the bread kneader. Well, I still use my rolling pin. I still use.
And she is passing those techniques to her son and her students that she works with the goal of keeping the authenticity of Bahamians alive.
One of the reasons I remain traditional is because I believe in certain things you should not lose what it was all about. The authenticity of it, it should remain, because as I get my grandchildren, I want them to experience what I've experienced with my grandmother, which she showed me the old way, and certain things just should not change. The older you get sometimes, and you feel as if you're losing who you are, the more you want to hold on to it. And I think that is where the Bahamas is. We are seeing so many different things, but because we're seeing so many different things and certain things, we're not going to let go.
For the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition, I'm intern Wes Collix.
Good stuff, Wes. Well, your evening check on sports is next with Shane Stubbs.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Shane Stubbs and welcome to Sports. And it's week 2 of the City of Freeport Council's Legacy Basketball Campaign held here at the St. George's Gymnasium. And this week, they've got visiting coach from the United States, Robert Yountz, working with the kids. And here's what he's got in store for them.
We want to give them something that will help them improve over the summer as they go into their next level. So we really focus in on fundamentals. No matter how good you are and no matter what level you are, you got to have good fundamentals. So we've been preaching that, and we've been working on that daily. And the kids are doing great. You know, some of it's new for them, some of them know it, but ultimately it's about perfecting that fundamentals so when you get at a higher level, it's just more natural to you.
And even though it's about instilling the fundamentals, it's all about making things fun for the campers.
We want to compete a little bit. We want to have some fun games so they can have some enjoyment out of it as well.
And for 2 of the young campers, here's how they've been enjoying the camp.
I've been enjoying the camp because we learn how to shoot, dribble, and do all kind of different stuff. I think it's going to help me process to how I could move, shoot, to know how to do all those different moves to when I get in the NBA.
It's also something that can help me in school, like helping me to focus and listen to teachers.
The camp closes out this coming Friday. Next in sports, the Baltimore Ravens' Tariq Black liked what he saw out of the campers at the Michael Strawn football camp last week, and says there's certainly room for the next Michael Strawn to blossom.
These kids out here got a lot of talent, you got a lot of energy, you got a lot of enthusiasm. I love to see that, and it's a blessing to be able to come help these kids figure out their dreams and, you know what I'm saying, get them motivation. Anything you want to do in life, if you put your mind to it and really go after it, that it can be achieved. As you can see, Mike, you know what I'm saying, he came from here, he came from D2. Just knowing that whatever you want to do in life is possible. I love the fact that this game is, you know what I'm saying, international. It's all around the world. And these kids, you know, obviously enjoy it.
And lastly in sports, the YMCA Commercial Basketball League returned to action Monday evening after a 3-year hiatus. In the opening contest, UNEXO dominated Pharmachem. The final score, 63-38. Jaden Mater led all scorers with 20 points. Next, Polymers would defeat BM Insecticide, 65-47. Ahmad Pratt finished with a game-high 26 points. Play continues this coming Wednesday at 7:30 p.m.
And that's all we've got for you in sports this evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Shane Stubbs, and as always, be safe and be great.
Grand Bahama Independence celebrations continue Friday, June 30th with the Road to 50 party cruise on board Maxis. Boat leaves Port Lacaya 7 p.m. sharp. Tickets $50, includes light food and 1 drink. For more information, call 727-2692.
What is the best IPTV service? DTV? Okay, I like this price. Free trial, visit their website, Facebook page, or what's up?
I'm proud to be a Bahamian. Happy 50th Independence, Bahamas.
Dangerous Hurricane Dorian will be etched in the minds of Bahamians for a lifetime.
Independence to me represents the strength, the boldness, the resilience, and the heart and soul of our Bahamian people. We fought for 50 long years to be where we are today and create this extraordinary little nation that never stops, no matter what comes our way. And for that, I am proud to be a Bahamian. Happy Independence, Bahamas.
The Grand Bahama Port Authority invites all residents of the island to join them and celebrate the country's 50th anniversary of independence at a free GBPA block party. Join us on Saturday, July 8 at 7 p.m. for a live show with lots of music, dancing, food, and loads of fun. The grand stage will be erected in the middle of downtown Pioneers Way and the Mall Drive. We want to see you there.
The Bahamas is a Christian nation, so you gotta lead with love. And once we lead with love, it's only way is up for us. And the generation that's coming now, that's our future. So once we continue to invest in them, we only can succeed. Happy 50th Independence, Bahamas.
Growing up in New Providence as a young man, I can recall July 10th, Tattoo celebration on Fort Charlotte. It meant so much to be a Bahamian. Now as a young man, to understand the way we live, our food, our culture, our lifestyle, it is absolutely amazing to be a Bahamian. I'm Jay Philippe from the Northern Service. Happy Independence, Bahamas.
As the country prepares for its 50th anniversary, ZNS Health Zone sat down with Doctors Hospital CEO and CFO to look at its major investments on Grand Bahama and future plans. This and more on the ZNS Health Zone this Wednesday, June 28th at 8 p.m. Here are some tips for having your home ready for a hurricane. Keep all trees and shrubs trimmed. Bring in all outdoor furniture, plants, or any other items that may become airborne due to high winds. Cover windows and doors with hurricane shutters or pre-cut plywood. Clear drains and gutters. And remember to secure important documentation in case you have to evacuate. Don't be caught off guard this hurricane season. Be prepared. Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Wilton Hart, you are our Facebook friend of the day, and we want to say a special happy birthday to you. And we know Sophia will be cooking up some good stuff. You see, the Harts are among the best chefs on the island. And that's going to do it for us here in the North. On behalf of the entire ZNS News team, I'm Raven Davis. Be sure to stay tuned as the Bahamas Tonight continues.
As the country prepares for its 50th anniversary, ZNS Health Zone sat down with Doctors Hospital CEO and CFO to look at its major investments on Grand Bahama and future plans. This and more on the ZNS Health Zone this Wednesday, June 28th at 8 p.m.
What you see on this television station is governed by IRCA's Code of Practice for Content Regulation. The Code of Practice covers matters relating to program content that are of concern to the community, such as local content, news, current affairs, and programs for children, advertising, including political advertisements, and the responsibilities associated with broadcasting in the Bahamas. The code also covers aspects such as access services for the hearing and visually impaired, and the procedure for lodging a complaint about anything broadcasted by this television station. The code is available on IRCA's website at www.ircabahamas.bs. To receive a copy of the code by mail or in person, you may telephone IRCA at 242-393-0234. Family Island dialing is toll-free at 242-300-8722. Or you may send a request by email to info@ircabahamas.bs.
In 1953, the United States began using a female name for storms. And by 1978, both male and female names were used to identify Northern Pacific storms. This was then adopted in 1979 for storms in the Atlantic Basin. The National Hurricane Center does not control the naming of tropical storms. Instead, there is a strict procedure established by the World Meteorological Organization for Atlantic hurricanes. There is a list of male and female names which are used on a 6-year rotation. The only time that there is a change is if the storm is so deadly or costly that the future use of its name on a different storm would be inappropriate. These are the names of storms for the 2023 Atlantic hurricane season: Arlene, Brett, Cindy, Dawn, Emily, Franklin, Gert, Harold, Idalia, Jose, Katia, Lee, Margot, Nigel, Ophelia, Philippe, Rena, Sean, Tammy, Vince, Whitney. This public service announcement was brought to you by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas in conjunction with the National Emergency Management Agency.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, the National Report, funeral citizenship defended. National Development Plan Committee reappointed. Goldwyn, no beach access. And in sports, Summer Hoops Camp opens. The Bahamas tonight, the National Report starts now.
ZNS News is brought to you by the new BTC. Fiber is here. Faster, stronger, more reliable. Together, we are unstoppable. Switch today.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Makush Lopinder, and this is the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks for tuning in. The Prime Minister's comments in Parliament Monday regarding Freeport and Grand Bahama, prompting a direct response from officials over at the Grand Bahama Port Authority. And this following significant concerns raised by its licensees, residents, and foreign direct investors. The Prime Minister at the time noted that the Hawksbill Creek Agreement specifies that costs borne by the government for certain activities and services are to be reimbursed by the GBPA for amounts in excess of customs duties and emergency taxes collected. Well, according to the Prime Minister, while his government has begun to invoice the port for these reimbursable expenses, to date it has not provided reimbursement. And therein lies the basis of the port's argument.
Stating its case in a one-page release, GBPA officials note up front that the Hawksbill Creek Agreement contains commitments on its part as well as the government, adding that the projects the Prime Minister mentioned, specifically healthcare, education, the airport, and the Grand Lucayan Hotel, are actually government commitments, not the port's. Furthermore, that the GBPA is yet to be satisfied that the government's purported claims are justified and supported by credible evidence. Nonetheless, they're being reviewed and will be fully addressed. Port officials go on to point out that the claims under the clause, which have not been amended since 1965, have little relevance today. At the time, the government merely collected excise tax. Today, they extract a multitude of additional taxes, according to the port. The statement further notes that it is also an anomaly to ask the GBPA to fund the Ministry of Grand Bahama. As for the Prime Minister's comments about the GBPA needing a management and governance change to realize real growth and opportunities in Grand Bahama, port officials contend that Freeport has always been and continues to be a net contributor to the Bahamas Treasury. And this despite the increased government-imposed bureaucracy and red tape in breach of the Hawksbill Creek Agreement, which has held Freeport back. Challenges aside, the GBPA is said to be focused on advancing the economic and social development of Freeport. It stresses, though, that the Hawksbill Creek Agreement's huge potential can only be achieved if the government is willing to work collaboratively with the GBPA. In response to the Grand Bahama Port Authority's statement, Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Frederick Mitchell, said he's shocked by the authority's recent move.
They simply do not have the money to carry the city where it needs to go. Right now, for example, if you want to get across the bridge out of Lucaya to get to East Grand Bahama, they can't fix the bridge. They don't have the money to do it. It's unfixed. And then the laughable proposition that they had where roads in this country cost $1 million a mile to fix, they announced that they're going to be spending $600,000. This is a joke to what has to be done in Freeport. So the question is not a tit for tat on who is responsible for what in the Hawksbill Creek Agreement. You can have a legalistic argument all you want. The point is, overall, the citizens of Grand Bahama and Freeport and the Bahamas know that right now the Grand Bahama Port Authority is failing in its duty to the city, its residents, and to the country.
Now, apart from GBPA concerns, the Prime Minister's budget wrap-up also zoomed in on his administration's vision to build a strong foundation in a strategic national development plan.
There must be continuity, not just across budget years, but across successive administrations. That's why so many Bahamians hated stop, review, and cancel. They understood it was partisan politics, not national development. That was being prioritized. In our prior administration, we spent years consulting with Bahamians from every walk of life to create the National Development Plan, a foundational and comprehensive long-term plan for the country's development and prosperity. We specifically promised that we would relaunch, complete, and legislate the National Development Plan. We intend to deliver on that promise.
The Prime Minister notes the government's eager anticipation for the updated plan.
The government has reappointed the National Development Plan Committee, appointing a chairman to complete the plan and then prepare an implementation plan. We are currently reviewing recommendations for the steering committee to oversee the work. We have included civil society, the business community, labor, and religious leadership on the committee. Additionally, the government will appoint a secretariat to support the implementation of the work. We already have an initial draft legislation that will create the framework for implementation.
In related news this evening, the compendium of 2023-2024 budget bills introduced and tabled in the upper chamber this afternoon following 3 weeks of debate and hours of going through the various heads in the House of Assembly to ensure allocations are properly accounted for. Senators are expected to open debate on the budget on Wednesday at 10 a.m. with every expectation of finishing up on Friday just in time for the start of the fiscal year, July 1st. The government touts the budget as one that focuses on becoming stronger, securing borders, making communities safer, building a country that can survive climate change, and creating an economic security. The new fiscal plan projects recurrent revenue to come in at $3.3 billion, recurrent expenditure at just over $3 billion, and the recurrent surplus, $230.7 million. Meantime, the deficit, a $389.5 million decrease from the current year's projected outturn, 0.9% of GDP. Well, Minister Bell also addressing Labor and Immigration Minister, that is, Keith Bell, addressing public skepticism that the government's push to crack down on work permit renewals will amount to nothing. Wrapping up the budget debate in the House of Assembly Monday, Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis said he's instructed the Department of Labor to deny work permit renewal applications when suitable Bahamians can fill the job. Well, Bell contends that this has already started, adding that the government is unwavering on the matter.
I would not necessarily wish to single out any individual, but many persons would know that we have already started this policy, and it is not necessarily only at the low end, but it is also at the high end, impacting a significant number of high-end individuals.
The minister says the Department of Labor processes more than 30,000 work permit applications annually, with approximately 15,000 permits in existence. He says the government has found there are some people with up to 15 work permit renewals. The government policy is that after 20 consecutive work permits, there is an entitlement to apply to become a permanent resident. Once that's obtained, after 5 years, an individual can apply for citizenship.
There is a need for labor in the country. Obviously, the Bahamas does not have, the population cannot possibly fulfill the labor demands in the country, and there is a need for foreign labor. But the time has come for us to review our policy and to ensure that Bahamians continue to remain first in this country.
The Labor and Immigration Minister also today hitting back at former Minister of Immigration Brent Simonet, who yesterday called for his resignation after he conferred citizenship onto a mother and her 2 children during a funeral service on Saturday. Simonet blasting the move as improper, but Bell says the former minister has no legs to stand on, having been forced to step down from cabinet on 2 occasions. He adds that despite criticism, Simonet never called his actions unlawful.
And I would invite Brent Simonet to examine his own record before he could point fingers. Here it is, we're talking about someone who introduced a Commercial Enterprises Act to allow persons in this country to bypass every process to obtain status in this country. We are talking about someone who've had to resign on 2 occasions from the cabinet of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And so his own record ought to be examined before he could point fingers at anyone. In my view, he have no moral authority to speak to me on this matter.
Asked whether he would repeat the actions, Bell insists the deceased served the Bahamas for years. Due diligence had been conducted and cabinet had granted approvals. He went on to defend the appropriateness of conferring citizenship at a funeral.
Well, the fact of the matter is, any place that can be done any place. And as I indicated before, and you'd have seen in a note that I would have sent, he would have called me while he was in the hospital. I was in Switzerland at the time. When I returned, he was being buried within the week on that Saturday. And so in those circumstances, he called me on his deathbed and said that if he would want his wife sworn in as a citizen in his presence. Unfortunately, he died before I got back from Switzerland.
Well, Haiti's instability initially leading the government to order all diplomatic staff in Haiti to return home. That, however, has since changed, but according to Foreign Affairs Minister, the Honorable Fred Mitchell, under heavy security.
Office is open again, and there are reasons for that. It's downsized a bit because it's mainly security, security detail with a few diplomats. But we are the only CARICOM country that actually has an embassy there. So it's important for us as an information post to determine what's going on the ground for ourselves. And of course, we do have this repatriation issue which we have to deal with. So it's important to have people on the ground. We've taken the steps. We've got armored vehicles in there. I think we're ordering another one, and there are also additional Defense Force officers, and they've asked for additional arms which have been supplied. So we're taking the best precautions we can.
Well, from the courts, legal discussions taking place today in the Adrian Gibson corruption trial. Gibson and 5 other defendants are facing a slew of charges. Vern Carey has the details.
Parties involved in the corruption trial are former executive chairman of the Water and Sewage Corporation and member of Parliament for Long Island, Adrian Gibson, returned to the Supreme Court Tuesday. When the proceedings got underway, Director of Public Prosecutions Cordell Fraser informed Justice Cheryl Grant Thompson that he had an application to make in the absence of the jury, prompting Justice Grant Thompson to dismiss the jurors until Friday, June 30th. The case is continuing after the Court of Appeal dismissed Gibson's appeal back on June 13th and lifted the temporary stay it had imposed on the trial on May 22nd. The Long Island MP had appealed a ruling from Justice Grant Thompson where she found that his right to a fair trial had not been breached. At the time, Gibson's attorney, Muridicil Casey, alleged that his client would be prejudiced in his defense if the prosecution's star witness, Alexandria Mackey, was allowed to testify by video link from the United States. He also alleged that there was not full and timely disclosure by the Crown. Meantime, prosecutors are alleging that Gibson attained a financial advantage of over $1 million from the awarding of contracts while he served as executive chairman of the Water and Sewage Corporation under the former administration, and that he laundered the money by buying property and vehicles, allegations he denies. Gibson's co-accused, his cousin Rashay Gibson, Elwood Donaldson, Joanne Knowles, Jerome Missick, and Peaches Farquharson, are accused of aiding him in that scheme, but they also deny any involvement in the matter. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Fern Carey.
You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. There's more news in a moment.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
We are a leading Bahamian bank, one of the largest publicly traded companies on BISIX. Our measure of strength is our growth and performance, with over $1.7 billion in assets. We remain committed to serving the interests of our shareholders, staff, clients, and communities. The confidence to lead, the performance to remain. We are Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Just when Leo was about to buy this useless pair of Hands underwear, he remembered that it was Tuesday. Hungry for deals? You better come satisfy it at KFC before doing something crazy. Crazy Tuesdays! 5 juicy, mouth-watering pieces of world-famous KFC chicken, handmade with a secret blend of 11 herbs and spices for only $10. Crazy Tuesdays! A finger-licking good deal.
Lift up your head to the rising sun, Bahamaland. March on to glory, your bright banners waving high. See how the world marks the manner of your bearing? Pledge to excel through love and unity. Pressing onward, march together to a common, loftier goal. Steady sunward, though the weather eyed the wide and treacherous shoal. Lift up your head to the rising sun, Bahamaland, till the road you've trod lead unto your God. March on, Bahamaland.
My business couldn't survive without my credit card machine from Fidelity.
It's fast, convenient, and my clients love it.
My sales increase, and I can track my earnings.
Get your credit card machine from Fidelity today.
Call 356-7764.
Signage at a high-end resort sparks controversy. Our Lloyd Allen joins us in studio with more on this story. Lloyd?
Well, good evening, Makusha, and good evening, Bahamas. Those concerns making the rounds on social media and surround access to a portion of the nearby beach. Director of Hospitality at Goldwyn Resort, Stuart Bowe, attempting to clarify those concerns on the public beach at the rear of the Cable Beach property and its access to the public, where he says it was at no time prohibited.
Well, we had a sign at the edge of our pool decks, which is just here to the west. It did mention the word beach. We've already moved the sign. What the sign will say is that our pools and our decks are reserved for Goldwyn resorts and residence guests. It's really that simple. We've had no issues. This beach is wide open. It's used every evening, every morning for persons that are here exercising, both guests as well as staff, as well as residents.
Additionally, Bo sharing that since opening its doors, the resort has embarked on a number of good corporate citizenship initiatives, including a daily cleanup of the beach.
We've purchased a tractor, and what we do, as I mentioned, on a daily basis, from the east end of Goodman's Bay, we go down past Sandals with the cleaning of the beach. In addition to that, we've added a huge trash compactor, free of charge, that we take care of to ensure that the garbage gets taken care of on the main beach.
Meantime, executives note that the sign was a clear case of misinterpretation and remains committed to doing its part as a corporate partner in adhering to all laws of the country, offering an apology to the public for the error. Reporting live in studio for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen. Makushla.
Well, thanks, Lloyd. The government's hands are tied. Economic Affairs Minister, Senator the Honourable Michael Alkeida's response after Minister of Labour and Immigration, the Honourable Keith Bell, recently blasted the Nassau cruise port deal as egregious and the worst in the history of the Bahamas. As some of you may recall, the Minister administration signed a deal for the newly revamped cruise port back in 2019 with Global Port Holding, granting a 25-year concession for the port's operation and development. Bell, who criticized the deal that was fiercely defended by the opposition, says over 5 years the port would generate an estimated $575 million, while the government only receives about $18 million over that period. Asked his take, Alkeida's offered this.
There's opinions being expressed as to the goodness or badness of it. My view, from my position where I sit is we have to, governments are continuous, we have to live with it and we have to make the best out of it.
Well, you can call it a membership with benefits, as the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation this morning teamed up with Royal Caribbean International Group of Companies to advance business initiatives in the cruise line's latest venture of a proposed beach club on Paradise Island. Today, the parties participated in a power brunch on board RCI's Freedom of the Seas. Chamber Chair Crystal Rutherford Ferguson says support of membership is crucial to the advancement of the sector, as small and medium-sized enterprises represent 90% of its members.
Essentially, we do this so that the business community can continue to have dialogue, have information on matters that is important to them. And as I said before, we not only partner with companies like RCI to bring this type of information to the local community. There's a project that's going on, and there comes opportunity for the local business community. It is our responsibility as the Chamber of Commerce to ensure that all local businesses that want to hear would have a chance to hear about opportunities far and wide. It is to spur economic activity for the local business community, and that's in fact what we're doing here today. So we're staying on mandate in making sure any information that is pertinent to businesses' ability to grow, expand, and have access to other opportunities.
While still talking tourism, Chief Executive Officer of the Nassau Paradise Island Promotion Board, Joy Gibberloo, fielding questions from reporters on the proposed Royal Caribbean's Beach Club on Paradise Island. When asked about the potential impact of the multi-million-dollar project on Paradise Island, Gibberloo gave this response.
While we are certainly aware of all the conversation that's taking place, that's not top of mind because that's not what we do. Our hotels are concerned that I'm getting the message out that they're open, what they have to offer, and that is number one top of mind.
In related news, the top industry scores an added boost as travelers are offered more options to reach the Bahamas later this year with the launch of more direct flights from the western United States. Fern Carey has the story.
Alaska Airlines will launch new flights from the United States West Coast to Nassau this winter. The direct flights will operate 4 times a week from Los Angeles International Airport and 3 times a week from Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. Chief Executive Officer from the Nassau Paradise Island Promotion Board, Joy Gibberlew, announcing Tuesday that the seasonal direct flights begin in December.
JetBlue started this ball rolling with the 1 flight per week beginning in November from Los Angeles to Nassau. But in negotiating for airlift, one never just talks to one partner. One looks at everybody because you're just hoping that someone would see what the benefit would be. So conversations have also been taking place with Alaska Airlines. And it was just coincidental that they both were looking at the same stats, the same figures, seeing the trends, that the demand for people from the West Coast to come to the Bahamas, it was incredible. And all of them immediately said, so there's no direct airlift. How are they getting there? This showed and demonstrated that there was indeed a demand.
The increased airlift is also expected to open up other travel opportunities to the United States.
If you think of the northwestern seaboard, I mentioned Vancouver, mentioned Alaska. That is the demographic of traveler that would love a Bahamian destination, that can actually benefit, can afford to come to the Bahamas, and all of a sudden they have the opportunity for a direct flight or just a very short connection to get here.
Tourism numbers for the first 6 months of the year also reveal continued increase in demand for hotel properties on Paradise Island.
Year to date, we're seeing a 15% increase in total non-Caribbean seats to Nassau versus 2022. Transatlantic seat capacity is up 38% year to date compared to 2022, and we know that that's driven by demand with the introduction of 7 flights a week on British Airways and 4 Virgin flights from London Heathrow. Passenger traffic at LPIA has seen an increase in traffic of 33% through to May of this year. And finally, very importantly, as of today, we have 38 non-stop daily flights to Nassau.
Alaska Airlines flights to Nassau are now available for booking at alaskaair.com. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Fern Carey.
Well, ForwardKeys.com boasting that international arrivals to the Bahamas, along with Kingston, Jamaica, are way ahead of where they were this time last year. Kingston is up nearly 30%, while Nassau rose to around 18%, making them the 2 fastest-growing individual regional destinations this summer. Better yet, the biggest tourism success stories of the post-pandemic era. Forward Keys reports that the 2 destinations' surge in growth is more impressive given what was increased competition for the Caribbean from competing travel markets like Europe, South America, and Southeast Asia. Meanwhile, Providenciales Turks and Caicos has seen the biggest overall growth of any destination since the onset of the pandemic, with nearly 35% growth in international arrivals this summer as compared to the same period in 2019. And since that same year, Montego Bay, Jamaica, and Aruba have also recorded growth in tourism. Well, speaking of tourism still, the push towards promoting more authentically Bahamian products continues with the recent announcement of a $10 million loan from Saudi Arabia. This likely ushers increased opportunities in the tourism sector, with similar initiatives set to impact local entrepreneurs. Lloyd Allen has the details.
Any number of programs that are, again, all focused and directly addressing the issue of how do we build, how do we enhance what exists, and how do we diversify as well.
Following the recent announcement of a $10 million injection to develop the Tourism Development Corporation, aided by Saudi Arabia's Saudi Development Fund, TDC Executive Director Ian Ferguson noting during last week's briefing at the Office of the Prime Minister that the future incubation centers, a part of that agreement, will serve as a number of ideas to promote authentically Bahamian businesses.
If you visit our website, tdcbahamas.com, you will see in a short while our registration towards businesses who are looking for grant funding, micro businesses in particular, specifically those in tours and excursions, who are interested in not just the grant funding, but the support that will come alongside that.
High on the list of benefits at those incubation centers, training.
And so any island, any business that has team members, if they don't have the economies of scale to have a training team, an HR team, they can absolutely log in. It's free of charge, really. There's a $10 registration fee.
Now, there's also the Hospitality Assurance Initiative designed to equip local operators with the tools to compete among regional competitors. Ferguson also sharing more on the push to create more all-Bahamian brands.
Tourism really spans so many other industries. And so the simple answer to that is yes. We are looking for those businesses specifically at this juncture that are very moving towards inculcating those very indigenous, very authentically Bahamian products.
And it's businesses like this that the TDC, according to Ferguson, is hoping to further develop and market as authentically Bahamian.
We find that it's been a little tedious getting our people to understand that something that is green can still be very, very palatable.
As the intention is to produce those incubation centers on New Providence initially and Grand Bahama, the goal is to replicate similar operations throughout all of the major family islands. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
The National Report returns in a moment. Stay with us.
This portion of the news is being brought to you by the 50th Independence Secretariat. Go to their website, celebrate-bahamas.com, or their Facebook page, Celebrate Bahamas, to see the schedule of exciting events.
Good to grow. Keeping you in the know. Keeping you in the know. God, it's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow. It's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow.
Over $30,000 in cash and prizes are up for grabs for farmers all over the Bahamas as the Ministry of Agriculture, Marine Resources, and Family Island Affairs, in collaboration with the Agricultural Development Organization, present the first ever Agrarian Awards, where nominated farmers have a chance of walking away with top prizes.
Through a nomination process and criteria that is posted on ADO's website at www.adobahamas.org, awards will be given to a male and female farmer of the year, of whom will be given $10,000 in cash. Youth male and female farmer of the year will be given $5,000 each, as well as a full scholarship to BAMSI. Schools and community farms can also apply and receive prizes such as gift certificates towards their farms. As nominations occur, a blue ribbon panel with farming experts will decide on finalists and the overall winners.
Minister of Agriculture Clay Sweeting wasted no time in pledging his full support to honoring farmers in grand style.
Through the Agrarian Awards, we will honor these farmers. We will recognize those who are making a difference. We seek to celebrate their contributions to our society and acknowledge the critical role they play in ensuring our food security and economic prosperity.
And while many will vie for the top spot in other categories, the Lifetime Achievement Award winner has already been chosen.
For decades, Lady Di has made strides in pineapple farming in the Bahamas, assisting other farmers with establishing their farms, and has passed her knowledge to future generations. Now her son takes a role of helping her in her farm and even has his own pineapple farm as well. But her efforts have not only improved the lives of countless individuals in her community, but has influenced agriculture on a national and even global level. She has and continues to set an example of excellence for others to follow.
So don't waste another minute. Head over to adobahamas.org to view the category criteria and nominate the farmers or community farm you think should walk away with those prizes. And we hope to see you September 16th at 7 p.m. at Margaritaville, where we find out the winners. For Good to Grow, I'm Giorgio Bain.
Lowe's means a lot to me. Seeing my customers smile brightens my day. Family is important to me. I love spending quality time with my grandchildren. I'm happy to celebrate 70 years with Lowe's. My name is Constance Penn. I've been working with those for 48 years. I hope and trust that they have another 70 years to come.
The atmosphere was electric as friends and families reconnected, creating cherished memories. Our young ones experienced pure joy in the dedicated Kids Cultural Zone, engaging in face painting, storytelling, and special games, bouncing castles galore and balloons for the fun of it. The Plait Lady, sharing the traditional skills of plaiting straw, was a particular hit, captivating children and adults alike. As a gesture of gratitude, the first 500 guests received commemorative independence gifts, serving as an enduring memento of this remarkable occasion. This festival exceeded all expectations, magnificently showcasing the unity and cultural richness of the Bahamas. We cannot forget the phenomenal music and art entertainment that was on display. It provided a precious opportunity for everyone to come together on our 50th anniversary of independence and embrace the vibrant spirit of our Bahamian identity.
FYP and the Paint Center want to wish you a very happy 50th Independence. To celebrate, we've teamed up with Val's Bar to offer you 50% off on select paints until July 15th. So whatever your project, whatever your inspiration, the Paint Center at FYP can help get it done. Stop by today to pick your color and save 50% off on paint. 69 Wolf Road in Nassau. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Join up for life insurance. Secure the ones that you love. Join up with Family Guardian. We offer full protection. Join the family. Join the family. Family Guardian. Protect the ones you love. A brand that you can trust. Family Guardian.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
The Southern Recreation Grounds transformed into an outreach ministry this past Saturday. Officials of the Baines and Grandstown Pastoral Committee partnering with area MP Wade Watson to host its second prayer and praise-a-thon.
As a part of an initiative to win souls for Christ as best as possible, and also to try and provide some relief in terms of food packages to the constituents of Baines and Grandstown.
The Baines and Grandstown Pastoral Committee is an interdenominational group of pastors who are working with the Member of Parliament for the purpose of enhancing the conditions of the people in Baines and Grandstown. Yes. We're interested in spirituality, morality, academic, and financial enhancement of the people. Working together, we can do much more than working individually.
Well, as we head to the break, we'd like to thank all our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us. There's more after the break.
With the help of our authorized financial institutions, or AFIs, using sand dollars is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Step 1. Identify your preferred AFI
by browsing their websites or contacting them directly. Step 2. Download the free mobile application from Google Play or the Apple Store and then register for a Sand Dollar account. Step 3. Load money onto your mobile app and begin sending and receiving Sand Dollars or purchasing and selling goods and services.
We are pleased to be
your central bank approved
digital wallet providers.
It does not matter
which of us you choose.
You can pay for goods and services
wherever Sand Dollar is accepted.
We are all in this together.
Visit sanddollar.bs for more information.
Of the Bahamas. Fly away.
The most important thing in life is family. And whenever you need reliable advice, you look to the people you know you can trust. At J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, we earn our clients' trust every day. Whether it's home, motor, travel, or commercial insurance, we've got you covered. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance, peace of mind.
Fiber is here. Faster, stronger, and more reliable. Switch today.
I'm Corvell Pyfrom. An impressive lineup of young NFL stars were in town recently to take part in this year's Bahamas All-Pro Weekend's instructional football camp. BTC enjoyed mixing it up with the players, and we even went along with Arizona Cardinals cornerback Rashad Fenton as he visited a group of teens at the Simpson Penn Center for Boys, sharing the uplifting story of his journey from the rough streets of South Florida to the NFL's gridiron.
This is a great partnership with the NFL and a son of the soil. And it was a pleasure for me to speak to the boys this morning and also to have Rashad Felton here to speak with them. And I must tell you, from the outset of what I saw in that setting, it appeared to me that our boys is on good track.
It's always a pleasure to come home and tap in with the roots so you understand and just be more grateful whenever I am back home in the States. It just gives me a different sense and a different motivation coming back here every year.
I know it means a lot to the residents here at Simpson Penn for Boys, seeing that somebody with that caliber take the time out to come and to share with them today in terms of character building, how to discipline themselves. So I know that this talk today will go a long way with the residents here at the Simpson Penn for Boys. It's great to have the great BTC stakeholder in the country here contributing to this initiative this morning. So I'm so grateful that you take the time out to make this happen.
BTC is in it for our communities. That's why we are faster, stronger, more reliable, and of course, unstoppable. I'm Corvell Pyfrom. Be well and be back here. Next, BTC Connection.
Fiber is here. Sign up today at btcbahamas.com.
Hi everyone, when heading to Florida to shop for your essentials, book your transportation with GoGoFlorida.com. The $100 cash deposit is back and accepted at Fort Lauderdale, Miami, or Palm Beach. Now there are lots of options to choose from, but I like the Tesla X, the electric vehicle, because I don't have to worry about gassing up, or the Jeep Compass seating 5 with lots of space for your luggage or shopping bags. So for the best deals, book now at GoGoFlorida.com. Also available at Bahamas Air Sales Office.
While Bahamas Power and Light officials continue to fix electricity generation challenges here in the capital, there's another power plan for the Family Islands as well. So says Minister responsible, the Honorable Alfred Sears.
Last week, I would have given a statement talking about the contingencies which have been put in place in Crooked Island, in Salina Point, and also with respect to Long Island. So not only in New Providence, we're talking about a country, and redundancy is being planned, being implemented right across the archipelago.
Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Makisha. We have partly cloudy skies after some recent afternoon thunderstorms. Temperature at 87 degrees. Relative humidity 69%. We have southeast winds at 9 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,015.0 millibars. That is 29.97 inches, and the pressure is steady. Temperatures around the family violence this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 85 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, Green Tulkey, and Marshall, Babaco. The Berry Islands at 86. Allenstown, Bimini, also 86 degrees. 85 in Harbor Island, Rock Sound, Eleuthera, 86. Black Point, Exuma, Kemp Space, Andros, and Fresh Creek in Central Islanders at 87 degrees. 85s in Otterstown, Cat Island, San Salvador, and Rumkey, Georgetown, Exuma, 86 degrees. 86 in Ragged Island, Clarence Sound, Long Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, and Acklands. Matthew Tiny Nagua, 87 in the Turks and Caicos Islands at 86 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Setter. In the northwestern Central Islands tonight through Thursday, you can expect light and variable winds with flat seas. Low tide occurs at 9:52 tonight with another low tide at 9:51 tomorrow morning. Now for the southeast bombers through Thursday, easterly winds 10 to 15 knots and the wave fights 2 to 4 feet. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. And that's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned. The extended weather forecast is still ahead.
Hey, it's your honorary pump attendant back again with another episode on the do's and don'ts at a service station. Let's go. What you ain't gonna do is just pull up to any dispenser and put the nozzle inside your car without reading the signs. Because if you put the wrong fuel inside your car and the car mess up, you can be mad at us, all right? And then you have to walk a catch bus for about 3 to 18 months. What you're supposed to do is read the signs. We place signs all over the dispenser to tell you which fuel is which. Because you put the wrong one in your car, say bop, and you could be mad at us. You could be, oh, what happened to my car? No, it's you who ain't read. It say diesel, diesel, one word, diesel. You got up, and you mad at us. Read, that's all you have to do.
If you've got termites and need to get rid of them fast, trust Rentokil Initial. With over 60 years experience in the Bahamas, the global brand, training, and expertise can't be beat. Only Rentokil Initial gives you a 3-year warranty and payment plan options on termite fumigation. No one can match the range of treatments we offer, such as fumigation, pre-construction treatments, termite monitoring, and more. No matter where you are in the Bahamas, we will come to you. When it comes to complete termite eradication, there's only one name, Rentokil Initial.
This is the super versatile Ring stick-up cam. It goes indoors, outdoors, outdoors in the rain. It's got two-way talk. Hey, Eddie. Works with Alexa. Comes in tons of power options and works with Ring Alarm to start recording automatically if something's going on. Seriously? Seriously. So start protecting your home with the easy installing indoor-outdoor stick-up cam by Ring.
It's like Johnny's ex-girlfriend finally found my car.
You've got CG. You're fine. I'll never forget the year those monkeys stole my car. They drove it over a cliff, burned the seats, and carved the words pineapple banana smoothie into all the doors. And that was after they used it for the bank heist. I don't blame them. It's their favorite smoothie, and I refuse to share the recipe.
No deductible for theft, malicious damage, and more. CG Atlantic Agents and Brokers. Good like that.
Hey, it's your honorary pump attendant back again with another episode on the do's and don'ts at the service station. Let's go. What you ain't gonna do is just pull up to any dispenser and put the nozzle inside your car without reading the signs. Because if you put the wrong fuel inside your car and the car mess up, you could be mad at us, all right? And then you have to walk or catch bus for about 3 to 18 months. What you're supposed to do is read the signs. We place signs all over the dispenser to tell you which fuel is which. Because you put the wrong one in the car, say bop, and you could be mad at us. You could be, oh, what happened to my car? No, it's you who ain't read. It say diesel, diesel, one word, diesel. You got up, and you mad at us. Read, that's all you have to do.
My Gateway is the centralized, safe, secure way to access and pay for government services online. Go to mygateway.gov.bs. Click Login. Register with a government-issued ID, like your NIB card. Fill in your personal information exactly as it appears on your ID, including spaces, periods, and dashes. You'll only have to sign up once. Now you're ready to request services on My Gateway. Receive an email confirmation for every request and email alerts when your documents are ready. You must have a valid, government-issued ID in order to collect documents. New services will be added every month. My Gateway is fast, easy, and convenient. For more information, visit mygateway.gov.bs.
Janae's Uniform Center. We've traveled to every island in this here land, man. We go everywhere. We can go to every rock and key, Abaco to Inagua, even Ragged Island, The Rock. Celebrate our country's 50th independence with Janae's special limited edition. Sublimated t-shirts and caps in 10 different styles and colors. Get up to 50% off on cotton polo shirts only. Don't forget to embroider your company's logo to celebrate this independence at Janae's Uniform Center, Chesapeake Road. Call 394-8385 or 6. WhatsApp text only 817-3295. Email sales@janaes.com.
This is Zach.
Welcome to sports, everyone. I'm Amajal Knowles. Roughly a week away from the Golden Jubilee edition of the Bahamas Games, the clock is certainly ticking for organizers as the big day approaches. We got this update on how the venues are looking for this year's competition.
We still have some more work to get done. The facilities are moving progressively. I think the Secunda District is ready. We're going back to the new tower, so we don't have to do much work to them. And then towards that, as far as Arnold Hall is ready, Donald Davis have an excellent new floor. They're well painted. The bleachers are painted. Just have to do a little minor touches here and there. And I think towards that, the sailing, going back to the sea, and then towards that, we have the cycling, but going back to the old cycling track. So I think we're in good shape.
Team Bahamas ended its 2023 performance on a high note at the Davis Cup by winning its final tie against Panama. With the win, the Bahamas remains in Group 3. Denali Nottage came out strong, winning in 2 sets over Louis Chang, 6-1 and 6-3. The duo of Marvin Roll and Dante Umbristo won 2 doubles ties against the Dominican Republic. The Bahamas also came up with a big win against Honduras.
Denali's first time playing, he played well. Definitely was a little nervous in his first match. At the end, he was able to pull out some big matches for us, so very proud of him, and he did Bahamas well. Dante was able to get his first win, which was a good thing. He got his first win. I think he played Davis Cup 3 years ago. So second time on, he got his first win. Congratulations to him. KJ, well, he's been on the team for a while now. And definitely the guys look up to him, and the knowledge he can bring to the game and his ability. Definitely, the guys appreciate it. And I've been doing this long time now, but it's definitely an honor to play for the country.
Women baseball player B.J. Murray has been selected to play in the 2023 MLB All-Star Futures Game. Murray with his best season so far for the AA Tennessee Smokies. Murray, the infielder who was selected in the 15th round of the Florida Atlantic in 2021, he's on his way to having his best season as a power hitter. He slashed .258 with 7 home runs and 36 RBIs. Last season at 2 stops, he had 8 home runs and 53 RBIs. The Futures game is a showcase for the MLB's best prospects. This year's game will pit the American League against the National League. In track and field news, 2 of the country's most promising sprinters set for a change of scenery after wrapping up stellar collegiate seasons in the ACC and SEC. Adair Charlton and Wanya McCoy announcing their transfers from the Universities of Kentucky and Clemson, respectively, in statements released to their social media pages. Both athletes acknowledged that the decision was not an easy one, but was made for their personal development as athletes. Well, a pair of Bayman High School track stars making a name for themselves over in the U.S., specifically Montana, not necessarily a state you would expect. Nonetheless, John Lee Pierre and Taran Joseph, formerly of Agape and Abaco, competing for Lutra Christian in Montana. Pierre would win the state title in the Class C boys 300-meter hurdles with a time of 39.98, while Pierre and Joseph would run the first and second leg of the boys 4x1, which the pair won. And finally, to the hardwood, he's a local legendary high school basketball coach that has produced some of the country's top players. But for Kevin KJ Johnson, his annual basketball summer camp isn't stopping anytime soon. KJ on what keeps him going.
Well, absolutely, we're going to try to keep these young men and ladies out of the streets during the summer months. It's very important to teach the game of basketball. Our motto is always put God first in everything you do. Secondly, work hard in the classroom academically and give yourself a chance. And, of course, basketball is my forte. So, we want you to work extremely hard to prepare yourself in the game of basketball, so give yourself a chance to play the game of basketball. I always tell my players that don't let basketball use you. Use basketball as a vehicle to get a good education. A lot of people go over and forgot about the academic part of it. They come right back home. All right, if you have an opportunity to get a scholarship to play the game of basketball, use it, get your education, and then move on and do something what you want to do when it comes to your education.
That's been Look at Your Sports on this Tuesday. A check on weather when we return.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Coral reefs are the backbone of the Bahamas. They're the life source of our fisheries, our tourism economy, and our culture. A deadly and relentless flesh-eating disease is killing our corals and threatening our very way of life. It's called stony coral tissue loss disease, or SCTLD for short. In an era marked by climate change and extreme weather, coral reefs are our first line of defense. The Perry Institute for Marine Science is leading the fight against SCTLD in the Bahamas. They have divers in the water all the time, studying the disease and treating corals as fast as they can to slow its spread. Use your voice, spread the word, and share this video. Let's save our corals together.
Bahamians are rediscovering Grand Bahama through immersive staycation experiences at Lighthouse Point Grand Lucaya. Pamper yourself at our Senses Spa or savor exotic cocktails by the sea. Unwind and enjoy serenity, 18 holes of golf, fine dining, romance, business conventions and meetings, grand outdoor events. For Bahamas resident rates at Lighthouse Point, call 242-373-1333 or WhatsApp message 827-8195.
For a brighter, clearer, smoother complexion, vitamin A and E enriched Natural Bright cleanses, exfoliates, and moisturizes for a soft, glowing, even skin tone. Natural Bright whitening, lemon and papaya exfoliating soaps for a brighter, clearer, smoother complexion that brings out the natural you. Also available in cream and gel. Natural Bright Soap Collection, distributed by ESC Distributors. Telephone 394-0819.
sponsor our Road to 50 Bahamas promotion by using any service at Lighthouse Point. And you could win 5 free nights. And this summer, when you book 3 nights, starting on a Friday or Saturday, we'll throw in Sunday for free. Yes, enjoy a fabulous Sunday on the beach with your 3-day Friday or Saturday booking at Lighthouse Point. Call 242-373-1333 for reservations today. Lighthouse Point.
As the country prepares for its 50th anniversary, ZNS Health Zone sat down with Doctors Hospital CEO and CFO to look at its major investments on Grand Bahama and future plans. This and more on the ZNS Health Zone this Wednesday, June 28th at 8 p.m.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, the tropics quiet this evening, but we have that mid to upper level trough now starting to make that move towards the east, so we will see some clearing over the next couple of days. Our forecast for tonight, partly cloudy, very warm with a low temperature around 79 degrees. And tomorrow, it's going to be some morning thunderstorms lurking around as a result of that upper level trough moving out of the area. The balance of the day, you can anticipate partly sunny conditions with a high temperature of 89 degrees. Extended weather forecast looking like this. Warm days ahead, sunshine coming back to the forecast, and that will be with us right through the weekend. McKishler.
Well, thanks, Basil, and that does it for the Bahamas tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.